guys, new video for Path of Exile. So this video we're going to go over another armor stacker build. So I sort of decided to try to do armor stacking on different ascendancies and see how we can build them and this kind of stuff. So the one that I'm doing right now is on a Juggernaut. Might be wondering why Juggernaut and not Chieftain, and I guess we'll go into that in a little bit. But I decided to make these kind of builds and try to keep them as cheap as possible. But I mean, cheap is sort of relative, to the person. But I did end up spending about maybe like 100 div or so because I did buy some nicer items. But that being said, I think this could be done on a budget of like 70-ish divines. And, I'm thinking, it was kind of fun to do this, and maybe if a lot of people are interested, we could try to do these kind of armor stacking builds on different ascendancies, see, how they turn out. So yeah, if you do want to see me do armor stacking on different ascendancies, well, leave it in the comment, and if we get enough upvotes on one of these ascendancies, then maybe I'll try it out. Just be nice, don't do something like, I don't know, like Necromancer armor stacker, because I don't really know how good that'll be. Alright, so let's jump into a feared map. Might be a little bit easier to do this one because I don't want to have to go get a full feared invitation. I do think it is kind of capable of doing this. Might be a little bit sketchy with the frenzies, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so found the feared. Let's just put a portal down here in case we die. Which probably could happen. So we gotta play this a little bit smart, I think. And they have frenzies, so man, they are attacking really fast. Wait a minute, one of them is ghosted. Chayula is ghosted. Okay, but we are killing him. Alright, wow, and you dropped the divine, wow. Alright. Okay, let's kill Adziri. I don't think we can survive her double flame blast, so we're gonna have to be careful. Yeah, let's kind of get out of here for a little bit. We are getting our Soul Eater stacks from the gloves, so actually she's going to do the double flame blast soon. I just know it. She hasn't done it yet, so I'm pretty sure that... Yeah, there you go. Oh crap, we were too slow. Okay, well, now let's just go kill her off. Yeah, she's gonna do the double flame blast again, I just know it. Yeah, and this time we are able to run out. Okay, so now hopefully Maven isn't gonna be annoying with all haste. Alright, things are looking good. Getting that Soul Eater stacks. Okay, nice. Cortex probably should move out of this thing. We're not as tanky as Scion, but should we try to tank it? Okay, let's just see what happens. Molten Shell up. Hey, no problem. Okay, well, I thought it would kill me, but we're getting the Soul Eater stacks. We're at max stacks now, so he should die pretty easily. Oh, he is dead. Okay, so now Mr. Shaper. This dude might just roast us. I'm not really sure. Okay, we have Elder. Let's kill Elder, yeah. Good idea. Don't want him doing any kind of weird shenanigans when we're fighting the Shaper. Right. Now... Oh. Wait, is this that's not the real one. Here's the real one. Okay. I'm gonna do his beam. Alright. And yeah, these are looking pretty good. There is some degen on the ground. Oh wow, we can actually kind of sort of stand in the beam. Alright, Shaper dead. So yeah, pretty easy. I mean, not super easy. We did die a few times, but definitely doable on a character, with these sort of stats. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so let's do a T17 map. We do have Back to Basics sort of Atlas. I'm not really sure if this is the correct one. I actually haven't really been doing this farm that much, but I just put it together last night, ran a few test maps, turned out okay. I haven't tried the Shaper Touched mod yet, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so for the map showcase, I'm going to be showing it off on the Headhunter because I think if you are going to be doing these T17 maps and going to do back to basics, you should definitely get one of these. We're also using the Lightning Strike. I mean, Headhunter is so cheap that if you're going to be doing this kind of hard content, then I do think that it is worth the get. Let's just see. Hopefully things aren't gonna, you know, be too crazy with the Shaper Touched monsters. I haven't actually ran that mod yet, like I mentioned. Oh, we are getting a lot of loot. The only thing that really worries me with the Shaper Touched is the beam, right? We don't have that much regen on this character, but we do have a lot of energy shield on hit. Alright, and I think as soon as we are getting our Headhunter buffs and that kind of stuff, we should be okay. Oh yeah, we can sort of stand in the beam a little bit. I mean, not for too long. I think if we're attacking enough... Alright, let's drop our Vol Lightning Strikes for these guys. If we're attacking, we're getting a lot of energy shield on hit. It might be okay, but, you know, I think it's better if we just avoid them so we don't die in the showcase, right? Or just stand in it, yeah. Yeah, let's see, these monsters are actually taking quite a while. Let's try to drag them in together with a bunch of other monsters. Let's see. Oh, it's got life regen. Okay. Probably why they are feeling a little bit funky. Alright. Alright, now we're kind of going with the Headhunter buffs. You can tell when the screen starts to lag. When you start to lag a bit, then I think you're doing a good job. Oh, we don't have any more Vol Lightning Strikes. Okay. Taking a little bit of time to kill, but we do get them. I don't know what meat sacks are going to be like, guys. I think you might have a little bit of DPS problems. You know, we're not really that high on DPS. We're like 15, no, 16 mil or so on this character. A lot less with the Lightning Strike, of course. But, you know, for Shaper Touch, normal ones, I think this is totally fine. I mean, I'd farm with this kind of speed, I think. Alright, so let's go over to the boss. I think that's enough showcasing the, you know, Headhunter and maps and this kind of stuff. Alright guys, we are at the boss, so let's just take off the, oh wait, let's kill this guy off. Let's take off the Headhunter and go to Molten Strike. Alright, now this guy, or this girl can actually kill me. She has two abilities that can kill me. I think the sword thing, where she stabs all the swords into you, can kill you. And then her big red explosion thing can actually kill me as well if I don't have Molten Shell, so you have to watch out for that. Yeah, with Molten Shell, it is totally fine. However, alright, pretty easy. Alright, so let's get into the build, guys. Alright, so first of all, one thing we have to talk about is the Ascendancy. Why are we playing Juggernaut? So basically, it's because it's cheaper to play Juggernaut. And the reason being is if you want to be playing endgame content, then you are probably going to be wanting Unbreakable to give you a lot of EHP. or, you know, max hit for, you know, elemental damage. This is why Juggernaut is actually really good, and all chieftains are pretty much always taking Unbreakable, because otherwise they're just not going to be able to do that, you know, hard content. Okay, so, and if you did want to play chieftain, you'd have to buy these Unbreakable jewels to get the same level of tankiness on this character, and it's going to push the budget up from, you know, I spent about 100, maybe a little bit less, and you could definitely do it for cheaper if you, you know, do things smarter than me. I'll explain that when we go over the gear, but that would change that 100, let's just say 100 div budget, would go all the way up to like 200 divines, probably. So roughly double the cost to go into chieftain, and guess what? The end result isn't really that much different, basically. Juggernaut still is doing almost the same amount of damage. It's actually kind of funny. Maybe chieftain is a big bait after all. Who knows? Okay, so let's take a look at the POB. Let's take a look at these stats. Now, these stats are very similar to my character that I made last league, the 100-150 Divine Scion Armor Stacker build that was very popular, and this is pretty much almost the same, you know, EHP numbers. ES a little bit lower because we're using Soul Ascension, but if you use like a rare pair of gloves like I used in that version, you would have about 4k ES. ES regen would probably be a little bit lower, but close to 2k-ish, you know, 1800. So that's very nice. And DPS wise, very nice, because I think in that video I was using a Nimbus, and this time around we're not even using a Nimbus, so without a Nimbus, having this much DPS is actually very nice. Okay, so I do have to say that one thing is, so this version that we're going to go over now is using Melding of the Flesh, and when I was actually planning out this POB last week before I made the build, I looked at the price of the Valakos jewels versus the melding. This melding was 14 div. At that time, the Valakos were 10 div, or like 9 div for the set. So, you know, I was like, wow, man, these are so cheap, and might as well just use it. So I made the whole build around using this jewel, Forbidden Flame jewel set. And now when I'm making the video, I want to check the price again, and they're like 60 div, or like 70 div for the set. So can't really use that in a budget version, so I've cut it out completely. We're back to the melding setup. Now, the difference is basically you just get more fire resistance. It's easier to get your cold and lightning res, and you do have a little bit more DPS, but I mean, not a lot. It's like under 1 million DPS more. You get a little bit more ES regen, maybe like 70 or 80 more ES regen, so not really even that different when you're using the Valakos jewels versus the melding. So the only reason why I was thinking of using it was because this actually was cheaper than the melding, funny enough. But at least I made some profit off doing that. I spent like, what, 9 div, and now I'm going to make like about 60 div selling the jewels, so that's, you know, everything works out. Alright, so let's go over some of the gear. So the replica Dream Feathers, I have one with Fortify. You can see now you don't really need to get this. I'll just show you what it looks like. If we turn off Fortify, we go down to 130 max hit on Elemental. Not really, we lose like 20k Elemental, so not even the end of the world. You'll still be able to play without Fortify, and if you're on really tight budget, just cut this out, you know, I mean, don't even bother with it. And maybe just make one eventually whenever you get some more money. But if you're just trying to get the build up and running, then, you know, something you could easily skip. Next, let's go over this combo here, the helmet and the Vault of Regalia. So like, why aren't we using a Grasping Mail? Now these are actually, you can actually make Grasping Mails in the graveyard pretty easily now, like a single mod one for very cheap, and craft that if you wanted. But I mean, like I went over in one of my other videos, it's cheaper and about the same amount of damage, actually pretty much the same damage, cheaper, and you get more energy shield out of doing a Vault of Regalia and the Formless Flame combo. So that's why we're using it. Basically, one thing to note about the helmet is you want to get +2 AoE. These are like super cheap, so you can just do it yourself. Just buy a whole bunch of them. They're like 20C each when I did it, and then just corrupt the whole inventory full of them, and you'll eventually get it. It usually in one full inventory, I at least get 1 or 2, so pretty easy. And yeah, we need to get +2 here because our Purity Fire needs to be level 23 in order to get the additional maximum resistance, and it is going to be harder to get it on the gloves, or yeah, so just get it on the helmet. It's the easiest way. Okay, so for the body armor, we're going to use a Vault of Regalia. I bought this on trade for about was it like 3 div for this base? Pretty crazy. But you can go and craft some of these in the graveyard. If you're a graveyard enjoyer, then that's kind of nice. You'll have a very fun crafting project making one of these well, regalias. It's going to be pretty fun, I think. I mean, I personally don't really care for it, but if that's something you like, then this will be kind of a fun project, I think. Now, for the stats that you want, you basically just want to get very high energy shield. That's what we're looking for. And then for the suffixes, we want to get, first of all, fire resistance, and then regeneration. That's like the one I want, but you like other good stats would be, so this build has a few problems getting your lightning and cold res. It is a little bit hard to get, so you can choose to either get some on your Vol Regalia, or otherwise you have to get it on your ring and your small clusters. So I chose to go for it, the resistance on my ring, but you could go for like fire and cold, and then on your ring you could do like fire and lightning or something like that. But anyways, yeah, good stats is just resistance, regeneration, intelligence is very good for some more energy shield, and then the crafted mod is very nice as well. So we're not using any of these Veiled Chaos Orbs in this budget version. All of them are just the crafted mods, even the one on the ring, crafted mod. So very easy, not that expensive. I think I spent only about, what should I spend on this? Like 6 div in total crafting it, so super cheap. All right, so let's go over the ring. So this ring, synthesized rings, the bases are like 1 divine. You don't need the eye level 84, 85. I just bought eye level 83. And then you just craft it. I craft with the Dex Essence because you do need Dex. And a good thing is, I think in most setups, you're not going to need the Deafening Essence, right? So I used a bunch of Shrieking Essences because I really didn't, I only needed like 45 Dex on my ring. So check your stats, and you might not even have to use the Deafening Essences, and it'll be very cheap to make. And on the ring, like we said, we have to get our lightning and cold resistance, so this is one place to get it. So for me, all resistance, if I had the max roll T1 all resistance, then I was gonna be fine. And then for these last suffix, either intelligence, life regen, or fire resistance. If I had rolled any of those 3, I would have taken it. I got the intelligence, so I just kept it. And then what you do with this thing is, after you get your suffixes, if you have prefixes on you don't want, just do suffixes can't be changed. And then you can choose to gamble with the Reforged Defense for energy shield, or Reforged Lightning for added lightning damage. Or just do what I do, and I just scour it. So I just do suffixes can't be changed, scour, craft on the crafted mana mod, and then I just Exalt Slam. So pretty easy. And then we'll just get one of these Calandra's Touch and have 2 of them. Alright, so for the amulet, basically it helps us fit in all of our auras because we are very tight. We're not even using any level 4 enlightens in this build, so having this All's Uprising is definitely helping. And what you want is one of your 50% auras, so either Wrath, Haste, Purity of Elements, or Determination. Either one of those. And then you want to make sure that the aura that you have on your amulet is not connected in your enlightened setups, because otherwise then it's just kind of a waste. And then let's just see. So for the gloves, Soul Ascension, these things are pretty amazing. You can see in the intro, you know, we're just getting the, once you have the max Soul Eater stacks, your leaf slams are extremely fast. Your attack speed's insane, so everything just is really good with these gloves, and definitely recommend them. But you know, a rare pair of sorcerer gloves too will work. I think the damage is about the same, basically a little bit lower on the gloves, but the sorcerer gloves are a little bit more expensive to make, but you do get more energy shield, so it's kind of nice. And one thing to note when you're buying these is the maximum number of souls can roll negative. Right, so you don't want to get a negative one. At least 0, like 0 to 5, I'd say. At least, you know, if you get a +3, it's still good. They're like 3 div, so not that bad. Okay, so belt. There's a couple of belt options. First of all, I'd say if you're doing like mapping T17s, definitely get a Headhunter. I haven't played with one of these in a long time and decided to use it because, well, I have like a whole bunch of them from doing the Valdo's maps. So, and it was really fun. So definitely recommend Headhunter for mapping. Otherwise, Tide's Time. This is the new belt, basically. So it just gives you increased flask effect, which is pretty insane. And then it also gives you gain 3 charges every 3 seconds, so it does help with your flask uptime, and this build, you know, flasks are about 50% of your damage and a lot of defense, so having good flask uptime is pretty important. Just take it off now, because otherwise it's going to keep making the flasks go off, and it's going to be kind of annoying. There's some other belts you could use, like the Magnate's really good. Immortal Flesh is okay too, but it's going to give you some more minus. Max res might be kind of a pain, and then you can always go for a String of Servitude with Grace Aura effect. It's going to be pretty good. But yeah, a lot of build options. Okay, so March of the Legion, basically on these, you don't really need the +1 if you're really on a tight budget. Just make sure the explicit Aura Gems is 5, and you do want to get your inspiration to level 21. So if you have a +1, you don't need a 2120. But if you don't have a +1, like say you just have a +5, and then you, or you have a +2 Aura or +2 AoE, then you're going to need a 2120 inspiration. Or maybe you won't need it. Just check your mana cost on Grace and make sure it actually, you can cast it. Right, and for the flasks, basically it's just the same old Armor Stacker setup, right? We got the Stibnite, the Salt, Silver, Jade, Ruby. You can swap out the Jade for a Quicksilver. That's probably the one to swap out if you want. And then for the suffixes, you know, armor, evasion, attack speed, regenerate 3% of life is nice, because this, even though we're CI, only have 1 life, the life you regenerate is counted before CI, so it actually ends up adding quite a bit of extra life regen. And then additional elemental resistances is very nice for the last suffix. All right, so that is the gear. Let's go over... let's go over some of these skills. Not really that many important ones, but let's start off with our March of the Legion setup. We have Grace, Link to Enlighten, Empower, and then Smite. So the Empower too, this is also optional, but I mean, they're so cheap, might as well just get one. Let's just see. And then for our auras, we're only using level 3 Enlightens, right? So we have a couple auras over here, and then we have some up here, all linked to an Enlighten. Then we got our mark on hit, Leap Slam, Purity of Elements, Precision. Make sure you change this precision gem level to match your accuracy. You can check this in POB. Right, and then Molten Shell. So that's sort of our setup. We're not even using a totem on this build. It's pretty cool, right? All right, so for the main links, we have our Molten Strike. This is going to be for, for bossing or single target. Molten Strike's the way to go. And we're going to have GMP, Ancestral Call, Lightning Penetration, Returning Proj, and Multi-Strike. So a couple things to note about these links. Let's just see. So if you're using a rare pair of gloves with the Ancestral Call mod, you can drop Ancestral Call and put in a Volatility support. See if I have one. Should have one somewhere. Yeah, so you put in Volatility instead of Ancestral Call if you're using the rare gloves. And then Lightning Penetration, this at level 5 gives you a chance to inflict lightning exposure on hit. So it's the only source of lightning exposure we have, so I recommend you get this level 5 as soon as possible. Adds quite a lot of damage. And whenever you do get a Nimbus, then you want to replace return projectiles with something else, like Volatility or Wed or Elemental Focus or something. And then when you want to swap to a mapping setup, just put in the Lightning Strike of Arcing, and that's it, basically. You don't have to change any of the links around. This should work fine. All right, so let's go over the passives and the jewels. So we're doing a few clusters over here, a lot of large clusters, 2 Scintillating Idea clusters over here, and then we have one over here with Fuel to Fight, because when we are at max Soul Eater stacks and have like Vol Haste active with Headhunter buffs, you're not going to be able to sustain the mana cost. So we need a little bit of leech, mana leech, and then Insatiable Killer. It's actually kind of a cool node because we're dual wielding. We get Frenzy Charge on kill. It's kind of cool, but not really needed. You know, you could go for Martial Prowess or something else, because frenzies might have problems with like Eldritch Altars. If you don't want to worry about Eldritch Altars, then get some other node probably. And then all of our small clusters, none of these are 35 or 25% increased effect, right? So you do want to get fire res on all of these. That's the main focus. And then all elemental resistance or fire or cold. You might need a little bit of dex, maybe, on some of them. I don't have any, but basically, yeah, you just need to use these clusters mainly to get fire resistance wherever you can as top priority. And then after that, to cap your cold and lightning resistance. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Watcher's Eye. Yeah, so Watcher's Eye, I think there's like so many mods that you can get. Notable mods for me would be the ES on hit, very good for sustain. ES recovery rate, also very nice for regeneration. Like any of the Fizz taken as mods are good. Attack speed, precision, lightning penetration, wrath, also very good. But yeah, kind of choose whichever one you want. Melding, make sure you get a -4 only and a low roll. The Militant Faith, if you're on a budget, then only get one that has reduced mana cost of skills, Pretend Devotion, and don't worry about the aura effect mod, and just get that later whenever you save up for one of them. There's a lot of other ones you can get, like elemental resistance per 10 devotion, which is also very nice as well. So you don't really have to, if you're on a budget, then just cut out the increased aura effect mod and it will be a lot cheaper, like probably like only 1 divine compared to like 14. So that's something you can cut out. Unnatural instinct over here, so we get our 195 devotion, and that is sort of it. Oh yeah, so CB Jewel, nice. If you can get one with mana reservation efficiency and CB, it's going to be very nice. Otherwise, you might have to get some more reservation somewhere because it is a little bit tight. All right, so I think that is pretty much it for the passive tree. All right, let's go over the Ascendancy. We're going for Arakali and Valakos, as always. Oh yeah, Bandit choice, kill everything. Right, and if you're wondering what my MTX is, some people ask this, although I'll put it in here. I'm using the Colossus weapon, and I wish I had another one of them, but I don't, so I'm just using the Nightfall. I've got the new supporter pack, weapon effect, and the Celestial Emperor finisher. Then I'm just using the, the League, challenge reward. And then we have the Astral Character effect, which is kind of cool. You look like a Wookiee if you don't have one. And then we have like a Fortify effect. I got most of these from just like supporter, boxes, like random boxes and that kind of stuff. So pretty simple MTXs. All right, so here we are in the Armor Stacker Compendium, and I've updated and I've added a new section for Juggernaut here. This is all of the POBs for like build progression. Let's go over them real quickly. This is the one we just looked at, the melding setup. And then when you get a Nimbus, basically there's a couple of things you need to do. If you look into POB, I think the main difference is I added like a level 4 Enlighten because we have to get some more reservation, because Grace actually starts costing like 50 mana instead of costing 0 mana. But that's pretty much the only thing you change. You can see the damage does go up quite a bit. We're at 38 million compared to our 14. Compared to the 14. After that, I recommend you get Mage Blood. Mage Blood, once you get this, nothing really else changes, but you just put the Mage Blood on, pretty much. Oh yeah, I did change the ring craft in this version as well. So at some point, if you have enough money to afford a Mage Blood, then you'll probably have enough money to actually recraft your ring. And the difference is this has the Unveiled mana mod, which goes up to 8%, and that allows you to also craft on a non-channeling skills mod, which is pretty nice. But, not really needed, right? You can still use the old ring. It's not, like, super important. After that, you probably want to craft a pair of rare gloves. That's pretty much the only difference. Oh yeah, and also there is Awakened Gems in this version. We're starting to slowly upgrade everything like that. And then, Grasping Mail is probably going to be the next setup, where we go to a Hubris Circlet. There's a lot of different Hubris Circlets. You don't really need to use this Fizz taken as Chaos one, but just the one I have, so that's what I put in. And then we're using a Grasping Mail. I do recommend the regen one because, regen is the bane, degens are the bane of armor stackers or these kind of builds, and getting regen wherever you can is going to really help with that. And then we have a Ashes version over here, and swapping over to Ashes does cause a few problems because you have to get a lot of reservation. So all of these clusters are like 35% increased effect clusters. So you have to get your 35% increased effect clusters, but getting Ashes does add quite a lot of damage, so it is definitely worth it. Right, and then after that, we got some 3 passive voices set up. I'm not really going to go in detail here, but the damage keeps going up. The interesting is your EHP is kind of sort of stays the same throughout all the versions. And then here we have like the end game one with 1 passive voices and this kind of stuff. At about like 560 million DPS, pretty insane. Alright, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have a class you want me to play Armor Stacker on, put it in the comments. If it gets enough upvotes, then maybe I might try it out. Maybe not. You know, depends. All right. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.